Hello, good morning. Well, good morning for me. Um, as you can see, I am not fully rested today. So my study hall intentions are very different than what I had originally planned to um, do. I can't even think. I was gonna do, what do you call it? Oh, I was going to focus on grammar review so that I could learn about the different past tenses in French. And that was my like super exciting thing that I was going to do today because cats under my feet. Um, I guess I'm more apologizing to the cats than to you all. But yeah, so I was going to do this review of the past because I had been practicing Spanish and I said, oh, this would be good to do this review of the past for Spanish. It's not a review for French because I don't know these specific tenses in French. I only know one type of past in the French. I haven't learned the other one. I know it's conjugation, which is already a big help, but I don't like fully know it. I've seen it. I've like it's been around like this, like ghost. But I don't know more than that. So yeah, that's what I was gonna do today. But then um I just had a lot of difficulty going to sleep last night. So I stayed up past my bedtime and I'm paying the price now because I am not well rested. And for me, doing something like learning about a new piece of grammar that's complex or that feels complex to me is a bad idea when I'm this tired. So, because I'll just feel really bad about myself when I'm like, I can't do it. This is really hard. It doesn't make any sense. French is impossible. That's not gonna help me. So, pass, moving on from the grammar idea. And the listening option that I had was to there's a website that has some different listenings and they're quite short listenings. So I was like, that wouldn't be a big deal. And then there's another site that has some stories that I can read. I'm like, again, that wouldn't have been a bad idea. Um, in the end, I'm gonna forego all of these different ideas that I had, and I'm just gonna take one of the questions from um, the voice message speaking practice program that I offer, and I'm going to use there are questions in English, so that's a little obstacle for me because this is for my French practice, but that feels light and easy to do today. And I'll get to do my speaking. And I don't know that I've done a lot of speaking with French. I do try to do something with speaking every time that I practice French. And yesterday, before I stayed up too late, I was watching a movie in French and there were some terms. Let's see if I can remember both of them. I remember one was face, and I was like, oh, I recognize, oh, face and daughter. Those were the two words that I understood when they said it. I was like, oh, I know these two. Bravo to me. Um, So I say that because I now am going to take the time to do a little bit of speaking practice. So I invite you to look at the different options that you have for what you can practice in English, and then decide what do you have the energy level for today? Is it going to be reviewing some grammar? Is it going to be spending a little time with listening or reading? You're going to write something, like I mean, we know that I always say that doing something active like writing or speaking is one of my requirements when we study, that there should always be that aspect no matter what you choose. And so today that is the only focus. So sometimes I do the writing and or speaking to accompany what I was studying, but today that is the only thing that I'm doing. So that means that it's a little more intensive of a speaking practice, even though, like I said, that I chose speaking because it felt like it would be lighter and easier for me to do. And I, yeah, I'm gonna see what the question is. And I guess the one thing that I give as a tip for the voice message speaking practice is, so the questions are chosen so that you have an opportunity to just become really well-rounded with your speaking conversation skills in English. And it's weekly questions, and they don't start at one level and then build up. It's a mixture of levels of questions. It's a mixture of grammar that's being put in based on what I know from my teacher training, and I know from my working with students, those mixes of what students have requested and what they've needed. And so that's where those questions come from. And you don't actually need to know what the logic is behind the questions that I've chosen. You don't need to take a question and be like, oh, she wants me to practice this with this question. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to worry about that. I've done all that work for you. And so you just get the joy of answering the question in a way that suits you. But typically, based on the question that I've chosen, you're going to work on what you need to work on as you answer it. It's going to come out naturally. That's what I've always found happens, is what you need to be doing in the moment is what's going to come out. So I trust that that's what's going to happen with my French practice. I'm going to do probably a really short practice today because um, I want to I want to enjoy French, even though I'm in a super tired moment right now. And so I don't want to ruin my French happiness. So I'm going to choose my question. I'm going to do a little speaking, and then I will review it because I like to just do a little listen to it. And so you can do that yourself. Um, if you want to do it through the voice message speaking practice, then you can go to the link and get your 2-week trial. Otherwise, I would just say choose a question and work on it for 90 seconds. That's what my little personal goal is today. And I am actually changing up the study hall, and not going to do I'm not going to come back live and like review because I realize I'm stepping on the toes of my own podcast by doing the review afterwards. So you'll have to tune into the podcast for the reviews of like how it went and what other tips I have. So this is just here's an activity for you to do today portion to motivate you as I motivate myself. Because honestly, if I didn't have to go live today, well, have to. I mean, I scheduled it, so I feel obligated. So it is a have to, an obligation I put on myself. But if I hadn't made this live, then I wouldn't be here practicing. So I just want to give myself another pat on the back because especially when you're low on energy, all of these little things can just make you feel really good. Like I did it. I showed up. And so, yeah, I'm really happy for myself that I showed up. And now I'm going to go off and do my practice. And I hope that you will as well. I am maybe gonna see. Uh, I feel like evenings have been really good for practice. So we'll see if there are some evening times that I can consistently do, or maybe there's a better morning time. I do like having a pretty set schedule, but it's also been fun to just willy-nilly throw these dates and times in for the study halls. But for the moment, I don't know what date and time I will show up next week, but I will find one that works and I'll schedule it in and I will let you know when I know. Alrighty, Rue. Have a happy day and get a lot of studying in. Bye bye.